here with Brandy Brandt and Mrs. Countryman, and we are going to talk to you guys, or they're going to talk to you guys, about the home visits that they just had and the experiences they had on these home visits. It's pretty intriguing and it's pretty exciting.
And today, we just got back from our second round of home visits. The first round we went in December with Mrs. Lopez, and then we just went this past Friday as well. And we really enjoy doing these visits. It's really enlightening to us, and we learn a lot about our students, what they're going through, and where their families are at during this pandemic. We visited 15 families this round from all over the city, and Ms. Brandt's gonna share a little bit about what we saw that day.
Hey, so we saw a lot, let me tell you. But a couple of the experiences that I will honestly never forget. One was when we went to an apartment of a young lady who was one of our students, and below her was the apartment of a student we tried to visit last time. And so we just decided to go ahead and stop in. Knocked on the door, no answer, could hear the children in the house. Knocked on the door some more, knocked on the door a little bit more, 15 minutes later, still knocking. You know, Miss Brandt, I'm a little persistent. So I knocked for about 15 minutes, and one of our previous students, who is now a junior at Clark, opened the door and said, "Miss, you weren't gonna leave, were you?" So Miss Countryman and I, of course, said nope, so here we are. So the younger brother, who's our student here, came out and we had a wonderful conversation. I think that was very heartwarming. We both jumped up and down, wanted to hug him, but of course we remembered we're in a pandemic, so we didn't get to do that. Also at that time, the journalist was following us, and she found it very intriguing that we had such an emotional bond at that moment. I think she was really not expecting that, and it was an emotional moment.
We've also visited another student whose brother was on our original December home visit list, and we had not had luck at that door in December, but we went back this time for the 7th grade brother. Again, knocked. We're very persistent knockers, the journalist said. So when we were on our way to the car, the mom came to the door, and she was a little nervous about us being there. She was very aware that her children were not doing what they were supposed to, and as a mom was extremely frustrated and confused about how to do her full-time job from home, which her hours are 4:45 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon. And also parent. She stated that she actually has 10 children. Not all of them are in the home at the time, but ranging from a student at Clark down to a itty bitty baby. And so she was very frustrated, and Miss Persistence over here insisted that that mom go try to wake up the children. We actually heard that so much on Friday is, oh, they're here, but they're asleep, they're asleep, they're asleep. And so we kept saying, well, go get them. We'd love to chat. And the 8th grader didn't come down, but the 7th grader did. And so we were able to have a really good conversation with him about the importance of his studies, but more so with his mom. And it was just really eye-opening to see how fearful she was of COVID. And why those students weren't back in the building, even though mom stated, she said, it keeps me up at night. I know that they're not where they're supposed to be, and that they're falling behind, and that that I'm failing getting them to do their work. But she was so scared to send them to be in person because she had so many children at a young age in the home.
Yes, so one of the experiences that really, quite honestly, scared me was we went to an apartment, and we get to the door, and the doorknob was missing. The side of the door had been knocked down, obviously, had been knocked in. So when we got there, we're like, do we go in? What do we do? Is this us discovering it? You know, so we stood there for a moment, and then the nice maintenance man came and said, hey, who are you looking for? We told him, and he said, well, we've been using this as a shop for quite a while. So I said, well, okay. So we went to that made me feel better. We went to the office, and they told us that this family did not live there, that they had not lived there in quite a while, and no one had been in that apartment since 2017. So we haven't heard from this child, so that's a time where we both were like, okay, so she's somewhere, how do we find her?
And I think it also goes to show the lengths that some parents are willing to go to make sure their kids are at Rawlinson. Even though this kid is currently not very engaged and is somewhere, that her dad had the forethought to find an address that would work, so to speak, I think that shows a lot of interesting things about our campus in terms of what parents are willing to do to get their kids here. But we really were shocked at the number of parents who were honestly a little flippant and were well aware that their kids were not doing what they were supposed to, but either didn't care or didn't know how to engage them. And what the reporter asked Mrs. Brandt and I, kind of like, why would you be willing to go out of your way and do this? And I think Miss Brandt says it best when she said, somebody has to care about this kid's education. This, we can't have a 7th grade dropout. Somebody's got to be here. And so many of these homes, the moms or dads are not doing that.
So it was a great experience for us. We saw a lot of kids we were really excited to see. We saw families that really needed us to reach out to them. And I think that we've seen change. I know today I've seen 3 of the students that we visited. So I definitely think that there's a change. Now, is it going to turn everybody around right away? Probably not, but we have to be persistent. So it was a great experience.
But do you think that it was different for students, for children, to see their teachers?
Absolutely, especially like I said, our first story I told you, when those 2 boys saw us, Miss Countryman and Miss Brandt, at the door, I don't think they knew it was us when we were knocking, because we had our masks on, etc., etc. But when they saw us and they were like, "Oh my gosh, of course it's y'all," that kind of thing. So I think that when they see the teachers that they have bonds with, that it does make a difference.
I encourage you guys to do home visits if the opportunity comes up. It's a lot of fun and it's very eye-opening to the experiences our students are having.